Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Pisces. Um, this is your November reading. So, when it finds you, it'll be your perfect timing or your divine timing. Um, this is going to be for Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You could certainly have a combination of that. Definitely for those intuitively guided. That's what I love about you all. Like you're paying attention to your intuition and you're understanding that, you know, you may not have Pisces in your sun, moon, or rising, but it's probably somewhere in your chart. So you're learning that if it if something is telling you to click on that video, but you don't have that sign, you're listening to your intuition. And I'll tell you why. I read through our spirit guides and I know your spirit guides. Like I trust that when I do a reading, who's ever meant to hear it will hear it. And then I just let it be. I have to tell you, I feel like we're going to have one hell of a reading. The readings for November have been powerful. We will be digging into love, your finances, your creativity, and life. This is a life reading, but I just have to say that I feel like my guides are helping me to help you guys get ready for year one, the year of the magician, which is 2026. So I feel like this is why the readings were very powerful this month. And boy, I have a feeling next month is going to be, well, they're already off the charts. So we shall see. Before I begin, I just want to let everybody know I am doing it's a contest. I offer personal readings. I don't really talk about them much because I want you to feel guided to them, but I do offer them. And what I'm doing for the month of October, this is just my give back to you, is I will be pulling someone's name and they will win a free future reading. No stipulations other than it does need scheduled, but there's no deadline on it. It's whenever you feel like you need it. So someone's going to win. Ed Spangler, he gave me permission to use his name. He won for September. And then I feel like I'm going to do um, some different things too, where, I'll pull a name and someone, may win a new tarot deck or I don't know. I have all kinds of things going on in my mind. Anyway, let me get back to you. Back to Pisces. So, Pisces, we will let Mother Mary open up our reading. We are going to use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. We are going to use it's interesting. Sometimes I'll come on a reading and I'll say, I'm going to use, and other times I notice that I say we. And I'm realizing that's our guides, like that the guides are connected, they're here. Like I feel like you're all in the room with me already. But anyway, so we're going to use the psychic tarot for your main spread, and then we will use the major arcanas, and we use these for like bullet points. But many of you know they tell their own beautiful story. Everything will relate back to the main spread. I just know it. Um, So let's go ahead and officially open up this reading. I say officially because I feel like it opens the minute I push start. Like, I'm connected to our guides, and sometimes they have messages before we even bring the cards out. All right, I'm going to bring the lid down. There we go. And let's begin, Pisces. Shout out to Sam's son, Justin, who his birthday is February 26th. All right, you got two. Well, hello, marriage. Hello, marriage. I make a commitment to a healthy relationship with God, myself, and my partner. Now, if you don't have a partner yet, this may be a future partner. And then present moment. Present moment. I am fully present in the here and now. Why is that so important? Because this is where our guides send our messages in the here and now. They're not back there. They're not out there. They're right here, right now. So that is why your spiritual team asked you to try to keep your energy in the present moment so you can notice their signs. Their signs are only to help you, to guide you, to help you find what you've been looking for. You know what I mean? All right, let's bring in the major arcanas. And I usually shoot for 3 to 4. Sometimes I get much more. Very seldom do I refuse them unless it's half the deck. By the way, I've been time stamping my readings. I don't know why. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I should time stamp them. And I break down the timestamp and I put in it like what decks that I'm using at that time. All right. We have the Devil, card of Capricorn. And interesting, then we have the Sun next to it. I say interesting because Capricorn or the Devil is really about temptation. It can be illusionary energy, making you feel stuck or, that you can't do something when you can. The sun illuminates that for you. So that's a great energy, illuminating anything. Some of you may have had like repeat patterns with something or someone, and this will show you that. In this sun, there are twins. And I don't know why, it always makes me think of twin flames, maybe. This is the masculine energy, by the way. So Capricorn and Leo, though I don't really read them as signs. So you may want to ask yourself, has there been energy that has tempted you that didn't turn out in your favor? Or do you feel stuck when the sun is here to like illuminate your path forward, to help you feel confident in taking that next step? The sun means like it's a brand new day. Um, it's a day that should be filled with laughter and joy. I often feel the sun can represent like a hometown. I don't know why, but I just do. We have the moon. Interesting. We have the feminine and the masculine side by side. And I literally just said that this sun image reminds me of the twins. They are twins, but I mean twin flames. Um, and I know that is not for everyone, but we do have the male or feminine and masculine energy here now. So the moon, though, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. By the way, the sun is the ruler of Leo. Um, the moon can speak of uncertainties, taking those steps, even if I'm not sure, taking that leap of faith, even, if I can't see that far in front of me. But then you have the sun here, which really does illuminate that. So I have a feeling it means more about dreamy type energy for you. I mean, what am I talking about? This is your major arcana. This is your major arcana. Why did I just realize that? All right, let's see if anything else wants to come out. By the way, look at the twins here also. Right there. Not really sure what they are. They look like two little doggies. Um, I had a Yorkshire Terrier, and he did pass away, but that's what he looked like. I mean, my gosh, it looks just like him. All right. Something is telling me that you're about to step into something that is going to feel like a dream. You know, like, is this real? Is this really happening? So it feels like it's something exciting, dreamy, maybe romantic. We'll see. All right, a couple more. Nothing else wants to come out. We'll let it be. So, how about that? How about the lovers? First of all, this is a card of Gemini. This is about a head over heart decision. And it's interesting because it is kind of like with the devil and the sun sitting here, like the devil on one shoulder, the angel on another shoulder. And which do I listen to? Which do I follow? Which will it be? It will be the one that you feed. The lover's chemistry. And you know what I love is you can see Cupid, which is an angel's influence over these lovers. Like either Cupid has already shot that arrow, is about to shoot that arrow. I feel like it is mirroring the devil's energy. So for some of you, it could just mean Capricorn, but I have a feeling it's also talking about, because when I think of six, I do think about moving on. So this could be, you know, things that I've been tempted to that maybe aren't serving my higher purpose and or even my heart. And then out comes the lovers. Out comes the lovers. Well, here comes that dreamy energy. You know, I love this image because it's like they're just about to touch hands. And when they do, there will be an electrical shock. Like, and some of you may actually feel that. Okay. So let's put these up here and let's continue with the reading. But now we know what we're looking at, right? The lovers. So we know love is in the picture. And again, it is a head over heart decision that, you know, and I know for some it's twin flames also, because the masculine and the feminine and the lovers, you know, but that doesn't mean it was an easy road. Or, you know, and I don't want to just say twin flames, let's just say soul connected. All right, let's give them a cut. And this is the Psychic Tarot we're going to use for your main spread. Interesting that Mother Mary brings out marriage and present moment. So it makes me feel like it's new. We have the Ace of Pentacles, though it did show in reverse. Prosperity begins. But let's see why. So that's the Ace of Pentacles. And Ace of Pentacles talks about something coming into your physical world. Many times it starts as a seed, so it needs nurtured. You know, like if you plant a seed in your garden, you're going to make sure you water it, Make sure it's getting enough sunlight. There's the sun. So that sun will help illuminate or help this seed grow. But let's see what's in reverse. We have firm foundation. It's the Four of Pentacles. Look at this. Positive movement forward. So far, you're getting all pentacles, which is interesting. And I'm saying that because your opposite sign is Virgo, which I am, and represented by pentacles. So this may be a time where, you know why I talk about opposite signs is because, like, what I lack as a Virgo, it's normally like your nurturing, like, Pisces energy. And I feel like it gives us an opportunity to reflect upon that. But we have positive movement forward. It is a number 8. 8 stand for new beginnings. Also the number of infinity. Then we have financial and material changes. That is why that Ace of Pentacles is in reverse. By the way, another pentacle. 5 of Pentacles. Some of you could have lost a job. Your finances may have felt kind of stuck. It's interesting because firm foundation, 4 of Pentacles. I feel like it's talking about, making sure that we have a firm foundation. He's looking right at that Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like this person wants to manifest that ace. And because positive movement forward is right next to that, I feel like you do. But I do feel like something happened. There has been a change. I have a feeling, even though this change may not have been what you wanted, it may lead you to something much brighter. All right, well, let's keep going. We're going to take 5 across. Some of you could have definitely cut ties with someone. And, I mean, again, marriage, it can mean like the splitting of money. I'm not feeling, like, let's face it, financial material changes and the Ace of Pentacles being in reverse. It feels like you took a hit in your money for probably different reasons. But this is about what's next because positive movement forward, they're heading right towards the sun. And this person is in this boat heading right towards the sun. Well, if you look where I have it positioned, there's the sun. And it's right in line with the sun. And then we have another pentacle, the 3 of Pentacles, recognition and reward. 3 of Pentacles is about your individuality and celebrating it. Some of you just may have been around people who just didn't get you. Didn't, I don't know, I get this feeling of either someone or people who didn't appreciate what it is you could bring to the table. But there is someone now appreciating that. There's someone recognizing you. Three of Pentacles is all about your individuality. And listen, if nobody else celebrates it, celebrate it yourself. But someone is. And I'm wondering if it's also connected to the Lovers. For some, this can mean a new job. But if it is a new job, this Ace of Pentacles, I feel like it's going to flip around. Because what has happened was really outside of your control. And it feels like you weren't being appreciated anyways. And we have an 8 right in the middle, a new beginning. But then the sun illuminates your steps for you. So now we have that appreciation that you didn't have before. Okay, well, who is giving you that appreciation? And by the way, in the Three of Pentacles, there's really nothing you need to change about you. I'm not saying you're perfect. I guess we could look at the devil's energy and you could ask yourself, is there anything that has tempted you in the past that maybe had held back what is really meant for you? Sometimes it's in our own belief system. Do I have the power or the knowledge to create something? And the answer is yes, because it's not always about book smarts. It's about what you have learned, who you are now. We have the Tower under that Ace of Pentacles. That makes sense because the Ace of Pentacles is in reverse. And I already felt like it was something in a way that you didn't expect. But it does seem like it put an end to something. But then look at this, Temperance. Beautiful. Patience. That's what it says. This is about trusting in divine timing. This is divine letting you know that they have your back. They're watching out for you and even guiding you towards what feels like better prosperity or even prosperity. Temperance is a reminder to let go of the things you cannot control, like this tower. I have a feeling you couldn't control it anyways. And by the way, it may, and when you're going through the energy, it's hard to hear this message. But once you've gone through it, then you understand it. Because I do feel that often when we receive a tower, that a day comes when we look back and we say, wow, thank you for that tower, because otherwise I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So sometimes it's changes that feels like, oh, this isn't good. But I feel like keep your eye to the sky, because I feel like things are going to start happening in your favor. This positive movement forward. And now divine timing. Memories of love. Memories of love. This is the Six of Cups. This is the first cup you've gotten down in the main spread. This is about nostalgia. And this may speak about someone that you know. Could be back in the day. But I want to remind you, like when you think about this person, or even a time period, it's happy thoughts that you have. Doesn't mean everything was perfect, but, that's not what you're remembering. You're remembering the good things. And there's that sun where, again, we do have movement. We have someone in this boat. So some of you may be moving like back to a place that maybe does hold treasured memories for you. Maybe this Ace of Pentacles in reverse with the Tower gave you no choice but to move on. But the truth is, I feel like that's what was meant to happen anyway. Temperance sitting next to the Six of Cups, literally, you can just let go of control. And if this is love, it's just going to enter your life. It's just going to show. Even these opportunities that I feel are coming your way. And by the way, with the Three of Pentacles, you have a lot of creativity within yourself. Don't be afraid to share that. If, let's say, you've thought about taking what you know, especially if you've been working for like a company and, it's like they never even noticed you, but you have so much to give. Well, I could see you taking that knowledge and that wisdom and creating something on your own. It's interesting. I've owned 3 businesses, and one just kind of fell in my lap. I was very lucky. I did work for the person years before that. But the other 2 came out of, well, because I lost a job and I needed to do something. Tarot was literally put before me. Like, I know this is what my guides wanted me to do. I didn't know that then, but now I do. All right, let's keep going. We have the moon again, called shadow here. And then we have spiritual strength, but it's in reverse. I feel like some of you, it's like, I'm afraid of, like, what does the future hold? Not that you're afraid of the future. You're afraid that, does it hold anything for me? What if I do start a business? How do I know I'll be successful? Well, I'll tell you how you know. Because number one, I feel like your guides will put it in your heart. But number two, I feel like you already possess whatever wisdom you need. And if there's anything else to learn, that's what the Eight of Pentacles speaks about. Like, this is energy you learn as you go, you evolve as you go, you grow as you go. So the Eight of Pentacles says, don't be afraid to be the apprentice, right? Going in as the apprentice, but with the thought of one day I will be the master teacher. And I do believe you will be. Now, let's say you don't want to do your own business. Well, then I would say put out those resumes, believe in yourself, and follow those instincts. Like, it's interesting. I was going to say, you may be reading the paper and look under help wanted. I don't even know if they still have that. So wherever you look for a job these days, probably online, but I can tell you one thing. I feel like life, for different reasons, has held you down for a little while. I feel like some of you, it's like you're having a hard time feeling your spiritual guidance. Doesn't mean they weren't there. You're just having a hard time feeling it, trusting in it. But they're with you every step of the way. And this really is the Nine of Wands. And this is about reflection. And, you know, soon I won't be saying this anymore. And I literally just did a spirit message that spoke about, again, moving from the universal year 9 into the year of the magician, the alchemist. That will be you. So, what I was going to say though is this is about looking back, but not with judgment. This is looking back at the other towers that you've had, because we've all had them. And what have I overcome? Like, normally you'll see 9 wands behind this person. And I feel like every wand is an experience, an adventure, something, that you overcame. And it's what made you who you are today. And with the 3 of Pentacles right above that, it asks you to celebrate your individuality. Don't try to be like anyone else. There's no need for that. This was in reverse. And, it's mirroring the tower. So whatever happened in the tower seemed to take away some of your self-confidence. But I feel like Spirit wants to build you back up. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. 2 of Swords, mental conflict. 6 of Swords are underneath that. Moving on. So, moving on from toxicity. Something makes me want to look one more time. Justice, balance. So something was unbalanced anyway, and probably left you feeling unbalanced, which is not a good way to live. And you may have been around some toxic people, toxic energy, and maybe the fear of change. What would I do next? This can be potentially blocking, and that may be why the Ace of Pentacles is in reverse. I don't feel like the Ace of Pentacles goes away. I just feel like it's when you see it, understand that, that was just a chapter. And now I'm beginning a new chapter with new people, new energy, and hopefully a new way of being. Because I feel like one of the main things your guides are saying is, they appreciate you so much for exactly who you are. You were born exactly to be the person you are. And you don't walk alone. You don't walk alone. It's interesting that we have your major arcana under the 5 of Pentacles. So again, what am I going to do after that? That's where your spiritual team comes in. If you're not sure, then they'll send you signs. They'll put, it's like when I started Tarot, I knew nothing. 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 I'd never had a Tarot deck in my hand. And then everything just led me in that direction, to the point where I was in a bookstore one day looking for a particular book, and there on the shelf was one deck of tarot cards. I'm like, oh my God, tarot cards. So I picked them up, and I was just looking at them, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy them. And I did. And I came home, and it's interesting because I started doing readings on Facebook. This is a long time ago. And had quite the following. And then Facebook said no more. Like you weren't allowed to put videos on Facebook back then. So I was like, okay, now what am I going to do? Well, that's what led me to YouTube. And I feel like that's where I'm meant to be, even though I get frustrated with YouTube. But anyway, I'm telling you that because things happen. I know I was guided. And I didn't know it then, but I knew it pretty quickly. All right. And I'm only telling you that because I feel like that's what's happening to you. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision. Let's go deeper. Let's figure out exactly what's going on here. It's interesting because the first card and the last card are both in reverse. Everything else is in the upright. We're going to start at the beginning, but read it as a whole. Jeez, your major arcana again. All right, the Six of Wands. Beautiful. This is the energy of victory and success. This is where other people are looking up to you because of action steps that you've taken. This tower moment you're going through, it's moving you to bigger and better places. Probably closer to soulmate energy also, like your soul tribe. But this is a reminder to you that you do possess what other people are seeking. The moon over firm foundation, under temperance, or above temperance, I'm sorry, but also connecting to the devil, or temptation. Let's call it temptation. Strength card. Beautiful. Double Leo on the board, by the way. Strength card is Leo's not major arcana. Well, yeah, major arcana. But the strength card's really about our own personal journey. It's the inner us. Oftentimes, especially with the devil here, again, temptations, strength card can certainly speak about that, like things that have tempted me, maybe in the dark type of energy. But this is you with the ability to overcome that. Two eights, right? The strength card. I feel like that's first and foremost. And I even love the sun illuminating for you. Whatever inside needs to be illuminated so that you can either find closure or what I really feel, I don't know, I feel like spirit is trying to build you up to get you to truly believe in yourself. Could have been some people who kind of took that away from you. But again, they may not have been your people. They may have been your people back then, but I have a feeling that you're evolving, which probably means new people also. Okay, we got a lot, but we're going to take them. We have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups, the meaning is discontentment or boredom in one's emotional world. Four of Cups, the meaning is also about learning to use one's spiritual discernment. And in the Four of Cups, though you can't see it here, there is a cup coming in. And this is why it's asking you to use your spiritual discernment. It's interesting. It's coming over a change. Also connected to the lovers. There's that Nine of Wands, but in the upright. Over the Three of Pentacles. Ten of Wands over the Tower. Wow. Can I tell you? Like, like a lot of times people fear when they see the Tower come out. But this is telling me that this Tower, it feels like it had to happen. Because in the Ten of Wands, it's like all the responsibilities on your shoulders. You know, whether it be love, a job, whatever it may be. You know, and you do have such compassionate souls. I could see you like stepping in, like, let me take care of this. But it wasn't yours to take care of. And I often, and you've probably heard me say it, I feel like subconsciously this person, or yeah, subconsciously, this person is wishing for a tower. Like maybe I'm having a hard time ending it. So the tower does. We have, look at that, the Six of Cups again. Sitting right next to the Six of Cups, but right over Temperance. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Wow, this is your tree of life, Pisces. Those seeds are your seeds. Those are the seeds you planted and the seeds you're still planting. It does talk about patience. And it's interesting because so does Temperance. But that is so a seed can come to full fruition. You know, like think of the Empress or the mother figure carrying a child, right? I want to give it the time that it needs for full development. Well, sometimes that's what our life is like. Boy, does it feel like who's ever in the Six of Cups with you, must be also connected to the lovers. That feels meant to be. And who knows? It could literally be for some in a different location. And this tower is what got you moving in that direction. And then lo and behold, just wait and watch what opens up. You know, this is a type of energy where I feel like there could be someone thinking about you, and then you start thinking about them, and it could be like out of the blue. Or I could also see where during like some of my difficult times, you know, like I lay my head on my pillow at night, my mind, my thoughts go back to a time, back to a person. And listen, for some of you, you may not even know who this person is yet. Because I often feel the Six of Cups can also talk about past lives. But I feel like it is meant to be. And I feel like it probably wouldn't have been had this tower not happened. Hmm. All right, let's keep going. You know, this makes a lot of sense for what the year is asking for, right? That final reflection and then clearing just what's no longer serving us. And listen, sometimes your guides will come in and help clear that. But it's to get you ready for your next chapter. We have the Eight of Cups. So I think we have 3 8s, which, eights are about new beginnings. The Eight of Cups is the walking away from something emotional. It's interesting, you have the Four of Cups right above it. Four of Cups is coming over a card of something happening outside of your control. But then the Eight of Cups is your physical action. This is, taking that moment, looking within one's emotional world and, maybe reflecting on the cups that have been knocked over. But let's not forget, we saw justice under there. So for some of you, this is cutting ties with someone. But this person is moving towards the Nine of Cups, inner harmony, and fulfillment of wishes. It's like it's saying, your cup doesn't live there. Your cup lives here. And here, well, hello, cup. Hello, cup. That means, well, depending on what deck, but in the Psychic Tarot, it would say love begins. This is love, no doubt. Interesting because in the Four of Cups, there is a cup coming in. Here is that cup. It's coming over the reversal of the Nine of Wands. And that may be why the Two of Swords is here also. Especially if you haven't had it easy in love. I could see being a little leery of like giving my heart again. But I feel like that's what the clearing has been about. And even though this Ace of Cups is coming over the reversal of the Nine of Wands, we do have the Nine of Wands in the upright above it. And it is also touching the Three of Pentacles. And why that's important to me is because it means whoever this cup, who's ever giving this cup, they're giving it to you for who you are. That means no masks are needed. This is about being who you are authentically. Hello, world. Hello, next chapter. So, again, that tower, scary when it happens, but it is taking weight off of your shoulders, number one. But it's also allowing you to enter this next chapter free and clear. I say free and clear. Let's just say ready, more ready than ever. And I feel like that has a lot to do with the Eight of Cups and the Strength card. The High Priestess, your intuition, your GPS in this lifetime, connected to Temperance and that Six of Cups. Nine of Swords. Worry. But it's mirroring the Strength card. Hello, Ace of Wands. And then Judgment. Wow. That tells me this is not far off. It's interesting because the Ace of Wands, it's like passion being ignited. Well, it's mirroring that Four of Cups and the Lovers. So it's like lighting a fire under you, getting you moving in a different direction. It's saying, I'm not going to let the past have any say-so in my present nor my future. I feel like by the time we get here, It feels like you're ready for what's next, what's new. And how do I love that Judgment is connected to this Ace of Cups? This is your spiritual team, and they are calling you to the present moment. Why? Because they're going to guide you. They're going to show you where this ace lives. It already lives within you. But where's the other part of it? That's what Judgment's going to help you with. And how do I love that Judgment is mirroring the world? So the world does mean completion. Well, the Tower and the Ten of Wands, okay, it's complete. That door, I'm going to close it. And then this is the beginning of the next chapter. It makes so much sense this year, right? The final reflection of the Hermit, moving into the year of the Magician. Look at the spiritual guidance you have here. You know, the Nine of Swords is worry, but it truly means unnecessary worry. And so close to Temperance. Temperance would say, don't hang on to the things you cannot control. If it's outside your control, let it go. Let it be. We'll handle that. We'll take care of it for you. So don't put worry in front of you. This is truly unnecessary. That's the meaning of it. And I feel like what it's saying is trust your intuition, not your fear-based mind. You have two energies that speak about fear, but both can be overcome. Again, that Nine of Swords, it's unnecessary. And then I feel like, and then your chakras are going to be activated. And then you're guided. You're being guided. You're being guided towards love. Hello, lovers. But I feel like for many, you're also being guided to a new way of making money. Let's just put it that way. A new way of making money. I love that the Nine of Wands just came in the upright over the Three of Pentacles. What you do in the world, what you've learned, your individuality, your creativity. And now you taking that and building something from that. And if you wonder, will I be successful? Well, Six of Pentacles is telling you yes. People will seek you out. You just merely need to be you. You know, if there were naysayers, I don't feel like they hold any weight anymore. You know, whatever you have lost, you are regaining tenfold in different ways. But it feels much better, much lighter. I'm not going to say in the Six of Wands that victory doesn't come without hard work. But what if I love what I do? Then that hard work doesn't seem so hard. You know, I get this feeling that your soul came here, well, for quite a few different reasons. But now I feel like it's like the soul is speaking and saying, I am ready for some of these blessings, right? I'm having this soul growth. And I feel like they will just naturally follow. Like, I don't even have to ask for them. I just want to be open. That's all. Be open to it. There's definitely a call for you to use your intuition above all. All right. I think what I want to do is I want to look at this Six of Cups. They're sitting side by side, one sitting on Temperance, divine timing, and how beautiful, because many times you can't see it in this image. You'll see Temperance where she'll hold two cups in her hands and she's mixing the loving waters of both cups. And I feel what she's doing is making sure that both cups are equally filled, same vibration, morally aligned. Doesn't mean they're exactly the same. The morals, their ultimate, like how they, I don't want to say how they look at life, but like I feel very few limitations. And if there are any limitations, I feel like they could be obstacles that you've had before. And now that you've had them, you can just move right through it. That's a great thing about learning lessons is when you've seen it, you've been in it, you've done that. Well, you can read that energy now. Oh, well, I was looking at the Six of Cups. And I was going to say the other Six of Cups coming over the Seven of Pentacles, which I feel is your tree of life. So I feel like those pentacles were meant to happen. And this just may be, Temperance says trust in divine timing. And many times we're like, okay, but when is divine timing? Well, Judgment kind of gives us that clue. Because again, we're being called into the present moment. And that includes that Ace of Cups. And this Ace of Wands, by the way. And this Ace of Wands, for some, is what got you moving. You may someone may be saying, like, that's it. I'm closing the door to the past. And I'm just going to allow myself to explore the future. All right. So, anyway, look at the Six of Cups. That's side by side. Just like the lovers up there, side by side. Tell us any more about the Six of Cups. All right, we have the Five of Pentacles. Well, that Five of Pentacles we have right here with the Four of Cups over it. That may be exactly what got you thinking about your emotional world. Some of you, it can be a relationship that came to an end. And, you could have lost some money due to that. But I wouldn't even worry about that because this feels like whatever you've lost, you'll recoup in a different way. And if it's love, with a different person. We have the Hermit. This is the wisdom that you have gained through these towers. The Hermit normally talks about like going through the dark night of the soul, going through something that truly makes me want to seek the light. And that's all you need to do. If you seek the light, ye shall find it. The Hermit is a wise old soul. And what I mean by that is we have lifetimes of experience that we can pull on. That's what our intuition will also let us know. Hermit's not in the dark night of the soul, though. The Hermit's looking outward. He's actually sitting on a ledge like the Fool. But he's got his lantern, right? That is his sun. And also there is your opposite energy. I like that the Hermit's back is to the Five of Pentacles. Like it's not affecting you any longer. And it could be like through your spiritual wisdom Like, give yourself a pat on the back. Like, as you grow spiritually, I feel like that's one of the best things that we can do for ourselves. It's like finding oneself again. It is a nine, so it can, for some of you, talk about like maybe you've recently become single. We have the Knight of Swords, and then we have the Two of Wands. Interesting. And I'm looking at the Six of Pentacles, or the Six of Cups, by the way. So who is this person? Well, I feel like you're going to find out because I feel like they're going to communicate with you. And I feel like once that communication opens up, then you move into the Two of Wands. Well, there's no fear in the Two of Wands. There could be a little like butterflies or that little, you know, that type of fear, but that's more excitement. This is putting your foot and your toes in the water. What we want to remember in the Two of Wands, really any time. Let's say we say yes to something, but then we feel like, I don't think this is going to work out. We can always change paths. Our guides will just recalculate, or what's that word? I can't think of it now. So I feel like this is you and this other lover beginning. And it feels like it's coming through communication. The one thing I always notice about this knight is he's on a white horse. And to me, that's a sign of pure truth, authentic self, the light. So I don't feel like there's anything to fear here. And I don't feel like you do fear it. Because I feel like pretty quickly, you're like, well, let's see where it goes. Let's follow that for a second. Let's just follow that for 1 second. These are why my readings are so long. I get curious. And if I'm curious, I'm sure you are. So, well, Queen of Wands. Okay. Action oriented. This is someone, and this is you, but this means that, or it may be suggesting that you take on this Queen's energy. And that means if you feel passionate about it, move towards it. I love that she has this line here, which really is her courage, right? It means that she herself had to overcome, but now it's her courage. So she doesn't fear. Why? Because she trusts her intuition. And Pisces, you're such a psychic sign that when you don't trust your intuition, something is unbalanced. I feel like the Queen is representing you moving forward. See if anything else wants to come out with that. We have the Empress. Beautiful. And then we have Justice. So I do feel like for some of you, cutting ties. Who knows? Maybe you received communication before you ultimately cut ties. And maybe that communication is exactly what you needed. The Empress is, well, she's been through all the experiences of the Queens. So she's gone through a lot. But she ultimately has learned how to keep her heart open. She's loving and nurturing, just like you. She's very intuitively guided, just like you. Some of you could be becoming like a single mom or father, but with the Empress here, I feel like there's nothing to fear, right? Because you have all the wisdom of the Empress. It's interesting because I often relate the Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life, to an apple tree. And you can see the Empress like standing under this apple tree. And here comes an apple. It's going to hit her in the head. To me, that's a sign of an epiphany, an idea, something I can take and then create from. You know, I do feel like there may be a few of you who might have been in not such great relationships. And you may have been thinking long and hard about leaving. And maybe the reason why you hadn't was because of money. But then, it's like your guides know that the lovers exist. They know that. And they can't come between our free will, but they can certainly make us feel the resistance, like that Ten of Wands. But that's so that we'll use that sword, the sword of justice. And what does that do? It brings you balance. And, to really live a good life, I feel like balance is the key. Balance of what? The light and the shadow, the masculine and the feminine. You know, that sword is to use for whatever you feel like you need to use it on, whether it be a relationship. And listen, sometimes people are using the sword on us. But if that's the case, truth be told, they did you a favor. But my point was, not everyone, like, wouldn't it be great if, like, just the way Sam and my story goes, like I was living with someone for 25 years and we broke up and I was single for 2 weeks when Sam beeped in my phone and that was it. We were together. I mean, we were on the phone for 5 years, but we were connected forever. Now we live together. And the reason why I'm saying this is if it would have happened 3 weeks before that, I probably would have turned him down, even though every part of me would want him. Um, but my guides know me. Like I've been cheated on. So the thought of cheating on someone else who didn't really deserve it, I couldn't do. And I feel like that's why my guides knew that. And that's why Sam called after the fact. But, I'm telling a long story that's not really making the point I'm trying to make. Because I feel for some of you, there could be communication that comes while you're still in the mix of things. But that may be the call that you needed. Like that may make up your mind, like, this is it. I'm done with this, and I'm going to give this a chance. Even if it doesn't amount to anything, it's still putting you on your authentic path. But will it amount to something? It looks like it absolutely will. It looks like this Ace of Cups is part of this next chapter, and hopefully for the rest of your lives. You know, how that Ace of Pentacles is in reverse. And I just knew that really was going to turn around. Well, the Six of Wands over it tells me it's turning around. All right, let's pick up these. And let's just look right at the Ace of Cups. And then we'll bring out the other Oracle cards. Let's look at the Ace of Cups before we move on. Because Judgment is right there. The Queen of Cups. And then the Devil. Some of you are connected to Capricorn. Tell me, is that Capricorn? Whoa. Suddenly I got all this. The Chariot. We had one card fall. The Emperor. Interesting, the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups. Remember, five is always about a change, or that's what it asks for anyway. Five of Cups ask where your focus is at. And in the Five of Cups, I'm focused on the cups that have been knocked over. But I have a feeling, because there's two cups behind this person, and they don't realize that until they've made that change, until they're no longer focusing on the cups that have been knocked over. But I feel like this is tying you to the Six of Cups. And then we have the Chariot and the Emperor. Well, the Chariot is card of Cancer first, I should say that. But this is really the balance of the feminine and the masculine, the light and the shadow. The Chariot is driven by your intentions. You tell the Chariot where to go. And it represents unlimited potential. And then we have the Emperor. Well, hello, Empress. And now the Emperor. And the Lovers. Like some of you, this is twin flame energy. But let's just say soulmate energy. The Emperor, to me, it is a card of Aries. It's funny because that's who I was with for 25 years. But really, I feel like what it's representing for you is energy that you can look up to. And where I felt earlier that this is about aligning you with someone where your morals are similar. Your belief systems are similar. They don't have to be exactly alike. The Emperor and the Empress, they are my power couple, but they're different, right? The Emperor is methodical, likes to put plans in place, where the Empress goes more by the seat of her pants, creative. I feel like these two, who else had this? It's either Scorpio or it might have been Capricorn. But what I was going to say, because I forget about the signs as it relates to the Emperor and the Empress, it's two people who have evolved spiritually. And it doesn't mean that they put that name to it, like I have evolved spiritually. But they have. They both make great leaders through their energy and through the wisdom of their experiences. They both care about their fellow man and woman. And that could have been part of the lessons they learned, like giving energy to the wrong type of people. What they call like an energy vampire. Vampire? Why can't I trust what I'm saying? Or I feel like what I'm saying wrong words for some reason. I don't know. I don't know that I could ask for anything better to come out. I love that the Emperor just came out when we literally just saw the Empress. I love the Chariot because it really, truly represents unlimited potential. The only time it becomes limited is when our mind makes it limited. Even the Queen of Cups, well, I feel like that is you. And let's face it, you love being in love. I'm not saying you need love. Don't get me wrong. But you're really a great sign to fall in love with. Now, your emotions can overtake you, but the right person understands that, just as you understand them. That Three of Pentacles takes on a whole new meaning now. Because if it's relating to love, and it's not just relating to love, but as it does relate to love, baby, you just be who you are. That's what I love about you. I don't care if everyone told you that you were unlovable. They don't know what they're talking about. Anybody told you you didn't deserve love, they don't know you. If someone told you that you couldn't create for yourself, well, they just need to watch. Just watch what you can do. Because this feels like my new Pisces. Like I feel it that strong. And I'm not going to take away the lessons that you've been through and how hard they were, because I can see that they were hard. But I also see how beautiful our spiritual team works for us always. Like they want to move you out of distress and back into joy. Okay, let's pick this up. And let's bring out the clarifying love situations. I feel like I remember times I was like, damn you, universe. And then the next day or the day after, something amazing happens. And I'm like, oh, now I understand. All right. Well, that didn't take long at all. Beyond compare. Don't compare your love to anyone else. It's unique. Don't compare your love to anyone else. It's unique. Beyond compare. Well, I feel like that's talking right to the Emperor and the Empress. Mask realities. Beyond posting facades and cover ups, dare to unveil the truth hidden beneath. Beyond posting facades and cover ups, dare to unveil the truth hidden beneath. Beyond compare and masked realities. Well, that is exactly what the Two of Swords is. It kind of is like a masked reality, but that's on the bottom of the deck. All right. Since we have love, 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 love. Let's bring out the romance angels. And I feel like saying that as it relates to love, because I feel like some of us may have gotten stuck, like with someone who just didn't give us the love that we deserve. And, we get caught in people's webs. Um, but, they're the ones who probably teach us more than anything. And the one thing you do learn is what you don't want. And I feel like that is such an important lesson. Like now that I've experienced that, I know I don't want that. And you do learn how to read that energy. So if that energy comes towards you again, you very clearly, your intuition picks it up and says, bye bye, keep on going. Walk on down the line. All right. Romance angels, look at that, calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. Calling in your soulmate. Remember when I said I felt some of you when you lay your head down on the pillow at night? Your mind may go to a certain person. But listen, even if you don't know who this is, it's definitely representing soulmate energy. I already knew that. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And how interesting, because judgment, present moment, is connected to that Ace of Cups, unconditional love. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. Interesting. Maybe that means some relationships can be saved if that's what both want. I mean, that's the thing, both would have to want that. And there could be something where forgiving is part of that. All right. See if anything else wants to come out. I never would say, like, go get a divorce just to say that because there's another love on the table. You would already feel that. You would already want that. You know what I mean? I just want you to know that. Speaking of, hello, wedding. The situation involves marriage and, well, I didn't even, that's so funny. I didn't even have to read it. I knew what it said. The situation involves marriage. Wow. Let me tell you, I don't know how it couldn't. And when I think of marriage, I don't think about like an actual wedding. I think about the commitment that two people make to each other. And I feel like, well, let's face it, this may be for some of you who you end up marrying, who becomes your husband or your wife, especially with the world right here, right? One thing has come to completion, but that new door is opening wide, and judgment calling you to the present moment. What's meant to find you will find you. That's what I really feel like. I don't even feel like, other than just understanding, the things that I have overcome and, my experiences are what made me who I am today. So I don't want to regret them. I definitely want to learn from them, but I don't want to overthink about them either. Yeah, because some energy doesn't deserve like you spending years reflecting upon it. Sometimes we just get stuck in people's webs. And once you free yourself from that web, you don't want to get caught again. But that was a certain type of energy. This is definitely introducing a new type of energy. Type of energy where you can totally be yourself and there's no need not to be yourself. It's an energy where, when the Empress came out, that flipped that Ace of Pentacles around. I feel like any loss in money, as long as you're being proactive, I feel like you recoup it tenfold. Any loss in love, I feel the same thing. What is over is over. And if you know it's over, then you have to let it be over. Because that's what opens up the door to these new blessings, this new life. Man, I feel like you've been through a lot, but I have a feeling you have learned a lot. And that makes me feel like what is coming in, you are more than ready for it. You may not know that as you step into it. As far as love goes, though, I feel like there will be this comfortableness, familiar, totally where you can be who you are. It's funny, one of the things that kept Sam and I apart for 5 years was me, but it was the stupid things I was thinking. Like, like I don't want to, like, this is why I don't put my face on YouTube because I don't want to get up and do my hair and put makeup on and, you know what I mean? And it's not really why. It's just the way that my computer is. Like, I don't want to keep lifting the lid and putting it down. Um, but why am I saying all that? I don't even know. I don't know. Okay. I think I'm going to let that be. Because I feel that you already know what I'm saying. I feel like you already understand what I'm saying. And, if you're in that tower energy right now, again, know your guides are there and they will help you out. They will show you the way out. It's coming through your intuition, through maybe for some of you, epiphanies, where you turn around, take that, and start something brand new for yourself. But victory will be yours as long as you're willing to put the energy in. And even the Eight of Pentacles tells you whatever you focus on is what you're going to grow. Remember how I said earlier in the reading, like it was like you had the devil on one shoulder, the angel on another, and which one am I going to feed? Well, your angels want fed. What's that called? Manta? Angel food? Anyways, I'm going to let this be. I thank you guys. I love you. I literally cannot wait for 2026 and to see what happens in your lives. This final push that you're feeling, know that you're meant to feel it. Like the things that are not going your way, the people who are working against you. Do you want to keep them in your life? Because you need to think about that. Because in the world's energy, it is the year of the magician. So don't let anybody come in between you and your magic. This love would not. This love would be like, you go, girl. You go, boy. They would never come in between it. Matter of fact, they would give you a helping hand. And that's the difference of lower vibrational energy and higher vibrational energy. And it's just natural as you raise your vibration that the law of attraction brings back energy of that vibration. What you put out into the world, you get back. So, put positive affirmations out there and watch them come back. Matter of fact, literally calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. And there is the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Cup, to prove that point. And not just the Ace of Cup, Temperance, happening in divine timing. And I know some of us are like sick and tired of hearing about divine timing. But let's face it, some things do need to be cleared because it wouldn't make sense that some of these blessings come in during when some things are ending. And that may be exactly what is meant to happen. They're meant to end. They have come to completion. And judgment is saying, that's why I need your attention in the here and now. Because although this has come to completion, this is just opening up. And that's a ride I want to be on. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.